Alright guys, so today's video we're going to be talking about the Elevoc Clear. Now this is a pair of true wireless earbuds and really the first time I've seen a company really market and promote how great the microphones sound.
Introducing Elevoc Clear, AI-powered earbuds specially engineered to detect and isolate your voice in noisy environments. Each earbud features 3 microphones with different characteristics and a specially designed voice accelerometer. Once you speak, the accelerometers detect the vibrations and capture your voice without the disturbance of environmental signals.
They're saying that they sound better than the AirPods Pros, which I would put up there as being one of the best microphones on a pair of earbuds. But what makes this interesting is if the microphones are really as good as they say they are, then this would make this a steal for a lot of people coming in at $59. Now, this is an Indiegogo crowdfunded project, and I normally don't like to do videos on a lot of those because, you know, a lot of the companies, you don't know if they're going to follow through with the actual sales, but Elevoc is a company that's worked with Lenovo and Qualcomm and a lot of bigger companies, but this is the first actual product that they're releasing. So we're going to check this out. We're going to see what all comes inside the box, what some of the other features are, and see if it's worth the early bird price of $59. Now to start with, these do use Bluetooth 5.0 and surprisingly they actually have a dedicated app, but the problem is the app is very stripped down. It really doesn't let you do a whole lot. In fact, the only thing it lets you do is control how much of the environmental noise you want to come in whenever you're taking a call. Now these do have active noise canceling, so they also have an ambient mode, and the ambient mode on here is very impressive. It really does sound pretty natural with all of your surroundings, which just makes it easier to hear a lot of things around you, but it also makes it very easy to carry on a conversation if somebody comes up and talks to you without actually taking the earbuds out. But the problem here is the noise canceling. I feel like if you're looking at this pair for noise canceling, that should be the last thing on your list, because I just felt like a lot of sound still came in very easily. I always do like a snap test. I play an engine noise, traffic, people talking, and all it seemed to do is just slightly dull out a lot of those sounds. It's almost as though the earbuds really were just doing passive noise canceling. Now I did check these because you could press both earbuds to switch it between ANC on, ANC off, and then the ambient mode, and it is in ANC mode and it really isn't doing much of a difference. So definitely do not go into this pair thinking you're going to get really good noise canceling. Now, as far as using these outdoors, they actually come in with an IP54 rating, which means as far as waterproof protection, it's kind of at the bottom, but you're going to be fine against rain and splashes and sweat and things like that. But it has dust protection, which I think is important because if you're somebody that's going to use a pair of earbuds for phone calls and maybe you're on a construction site or you're at the beach, this pair is going to do a good job at keeping you protected against dust and things just flying around in the air. So I think that they really did pay attention to that because if they're focusing on microphones, a lot of people are going to use these while they're at work. Now, as far as what all they've included inside the box, you actually do get 7 sets of silicone ear tips, so there's plenty to choose from. In fact, there's 2 different styles. One kind of has a flatter look to it, so it kind of depends on your ear canal. But I'm glad when companies do this just because everybody's ear canal is not the same, and getting a good seal is honestly one of the most important things when you're going to be using a pair of earbuds. And then as far as the charging cable, it comes with one of these really small USB-C cables, and you will need to keep this because this is the only way to charge these. The case is not a Qi wireless charging case, and in this price range, that's okay. I've just gotten kind of spoiled where it's easy to just drop a case on a wireless charger. And speaking of the charging, battery life is okay. I think if you're going to use these with the noise canceling on all the time, which I will explain why you may want to do that a little bit later, the battery life is going to get you 5 hours on the earbuds with around 25 hours using the case. But if you do decide to use these with the noise canceling off, you can actually squeeze 6 hours out of the earbuds and around 30 hours using the case. So battery life, that's kind of middle of the road. I don't think it's going to blow anybody away like some of the 100+ hours we've seen, but it's definitely not as low as some of the 2 or 3 hours we've seen on some other ones. But another thing that this pair is also lacking is if you do happen to pick your earbuds up and they are dead, there is no fast charge feature on here either. So mixing that with the fact that the case is not a Qi wireless charging case, it already feels kind of stripped when it comes to those features. But moving over to looking at the rest of the case, if you put this side by side with the AirPods Pro case, it's almost the exact same size. The design of this one is all matte black, and this case picks up fingerprints extremely easily. So you're going to find yourself wiping that off quite a bit. And then on the bottom of the case is where your USB-C input is located. You also have a pairing button, and then you have 4 indicator lights. That way you can check how much battery life is left on the case. And I kind of like that all of it is right there on the bottom. I don't normally see a design like that. Now moving over to checking out the actual earbuds, they still follow that same design of the matte finish, which means it picks up your fingerprints easily. It picks up any kind of oils that'll be on your fingers or your ears. So again, this is going to be something you're going to find yourself wiping off pretty frequently. But as far as the controls on here, they do use touch controls, and sadly, they do not give you the ability to control everything because there is no volume control. And I really wished within the app that they would give you the option to switch around some of the controls, because the earbuds actually have smart sensors. So I would gladly take away the ability to play and pause my music if I could add volume control, especially considering I could just take one earbud out, have it pause, and then just have it resume when I put it back in. So maybe in a firmware update they can fix this, but as it is right now, there's no volume control. But the main reason that you would be here to check these out are the microphones. That's the one thing that they heavily market, and if you believe all their marketing, this is the best microphone that you can get on a pair of earbuds. But I do want to test this. In fact, I have a pair of AirPods Pros, so I'm going to give you side-by-side tests of the AirPod Pros and the Elevoc Clear, so you can see if this pair is actually better. And that would make these pretty impressive for all those people looking for microphones, considering they're only $59. But you guys can be a judge by listening to the test here.
All right, guys, so here is a mic test using the Elevoc Clear. For a $59 pair, I would definitely say the microphones are doing a really good job. Here is the same mic test with a pair of AirPods Pros, so that way you can see a comparison between the two, but this is just to give you an idea. And so now here is a mic test because I want to show you what the environmental noise canceling adjustment does within the app. So right now it is adjust all the way full where it would be blocking out a lot of my sounds. But now I want to go into the app and pull this back halfway. I'm going to save that setting so that you can now hear the difference to tell what the microphone is actually picking up, because that's the point. They want to make it seem as though the people you're talking to can actually hear the environment you're in, so you don't sound as isolated. So this is halfway, and then now I'm going to pull it all the way back so that it's just allowing all of my environment to come in. I just want to show you the different levels of what the app is actually doing.
So now let's talk about the sound, which again, just based off their marketing, is second nature to the microphones that are on here. And I think that kind of comes through with listening to these, because I felt like out of the box, they're very boomy. They're really warm sounding, and the bass, in my opinion, almost has that beach ball effect. And what I mean is, like, when the drums hit or the bass hits, it kind of has like a hollow reverb effect. I'm not a huge fan of this. It just deeply affects the audio, and I don't feel like they did enough with the mids and the treble to try to bring out as much details as I like in music either. Now, I did notice, and this is very strange, but when you switch these into ANC on, it actually clears things up quite a bit. And usually in earbuds, whenever you turn ANC on, it closes things in, it makes them a little bit boomier or warmer sounding, and it had the opposite effect on this pair. I felt like with the ANC on, you can tell that the treble is coming up quite a bit. The mids kind of started to step up a little bit, but the mids are definitely the weakest point on these earbuds. It just felt like if I'm listening to certain genres where a lot's going on, or it's bass heavy, or there's a lot of drums, the vocalists kind of felt like they were stepping back a little. So audio quality wise, even with the soundstage and sound imaging, this is not a very open sounding earbud. And because the treble just doesn't have as much sparkle or detail as a lot of the other earbuds. Even though I didn't have a problem telling where things were coming from, it just lacked that clarity that I like with listening to music. So audio quality, this is not the first pair that I would recommend. There's just so many better options in this price range. And mixing that with some of the other cons that I have, the fact that the app is just really lackluster, really only having the ability to control the environmental noise canceling whenever you're taking calls, just feels like there's a lot of missed opportunities there. I mean, you could really bump it up by giving some EQ options to be able to fix some of the audio. You could also give the ability to fix some of the controls by adding volume control. And then also, I think it would be nice to have a little bit more controls over the actual noise canceling itself, but I feel like noise canceling is really lacking on this pair. So just wiping all of that stuff all together, who do I think these are for, and do I think it's worth it? If you're going to listen to music, I just would recommend something else. But I think on a pair that you can pick up for 59 bucks, I think the microphone is going to be impressive to a lot of people, especially ones that focus so much on using their earbuds for phone calls. But guys, that's my video on the brand new Elevoc Clear. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.